One of the first things I do is I align their values. So I see where their values are in relationships, in parenting, in employment, in their career. I go through all of that. And basically how I elicit their values is I ask them questions about why they want things, why it's important to them, and how does it make them feel when this versus that. And then I get a bunch of values listed, and then I find out which value is more important in a certain area. So I'll give you an example. So if I elicit someone's values in relationships and their highest value is freedom, there's going to be a problem there, right? Because freedom and relationships kind of don't go hand in hand, right? So when I do that, it really exposes to the person how they're living their life. If they're living their life, out with their friends all the time and having all this freedom, but they want a relationship and wondering why it's not working out. Well, wait a minute. We need to realign those values to what you really want. And maybe a relationship's not what you really want based on how you're living. And another example is like if you value love, let's say, and you're not living in a loving way, then you're never going to fulfill that value. You're never going to get there because you're frustrated or stressed all the time. But your highest value, you want love. You'll never find it. You'll never get there. Truly, absolutely, 100%,
Well, that
100%.
you also have to
So
love yourself first, right? And I think that, yeah, I think that with relationships that are ending in divorce, so many
yes,
people believe they need connection, right? And the definition around connection is really different for a man and a woman. And, that need for whatever physical intimacy or whatever that is meaningful or defined as connection to one, whereas connection to the other, might not be the same level of connection, right?
yeah,
Somebody
the
wants
love
to be heard,
languages, yeah.
somebody wants to be seen, one person wants to be touched, everybody has their different definition. And I think that the really interesting thing about what you were just talking about is about love is like we all have the maybe that we want to feel love, we want that. But at the end of the day, unless you try to get to that place of loving yourself, you're never going to really ever be able to love effectively because you're looking for love for a sense of validation or maybe for a different purpose. And it's really hard to love when it's like selfishly needed, right? So I think what you're doing is so great as it relates to that. I think that men coming to you are struggling, and they're just like you said, they have all of these different things, the connection with their kids, like that's so huge. And it pains me when I see fathers who don't get to see their kids. And again, it is, and I know that not everybody can do the 50-50. I mean, your careers and your life don't allow for the 50-50 to happen, logistics, it's hard on the kids. I think those are all really important things. So you deal with values, which I love, aligning values. You deal with love and figuring out what love means to them and what
Well,
they're
I think
striving for.
one of the
And
most
what
important
else?
things besides their values, of course, is really self-realization, really being self-aware of like being self-aware of your thoughts, number one, being the gatekeeper to your own thoughts, to your mind, and what's going through your mind throughout the day, and just kind of not so much judging you call it in NLP, we have the conscious mind and the unconscious mind. And we usually run our programs in the unconscious mind. 95% of our day is run unconsciously, like things we don't think about, like brushing our teeth and different things like that we do every day, different habits that we have. And so being self-aware of what's going on is step number one. When you're self-aware and you're not judgmental to that, just watch it and see where you're at. And just that's a big step.